One Ukrainian pilot, Russia's most advanced air defense network, a massive ammunition depot. What happened next would turn expensive Russian hardware into scrap metal and prove that skill beats technology every single time. At 3:32 in the morning, a Ukrainian MiG-29 was climbing through friendly airspace, heading deep into Russian territory with one mission: destroy a massive ammunition depot supplying thousands of Russian troops on the front line. The flight had been smooth for 12 minutes. Then, everything changed. An S-400 system near Melitopol had locked onto him from 120 kilometers away. The pilot had no idea death was already tracking him. Suddenly, the missile warning screamed through his headset. A missile was climbing toward him at hypersonic speed. Impact in 80 seconds! The pilot reacted instantly, yanking the stick hard right while slamming the chaff button. The MiG rolled into a 90-degree angle to the radar beam, a maneuver pilots call notching. For 8 seconds, he held that heading while chaff strips exploded behind him in bursts, creating a metallic cloud that moved at wind speed. Each strip reflected radar energy like tiny mirrors. One aircraft suddenly looked like 100. The S-400's algorithms went into chaos, desperately sorting fighter from false returns. At this angle, they all looked identical. Track quality degraded, lost. The missile switched to backup mode, flying toward the last predicted point, while the pilot had already changed course and dove for the deck. The seeker activated, scanning for a target now 2 kilometers away and obscured by chaff. Its fuse found nothing. The warhead detonated harmlessly. Round 1 to Ukraine. The pilot leveled at 500 feet, low enough to disappear from radar. He checked his 6, watching the smoke trail vanish. But this was just the beginning. The Gravestone radar uses thousands of modules that steer beams electronically in microseconds, jumping horizon to zenith instantly. Unlike old Soviet systems that gave up, this modern beast remembers everything. Last position, heading, speed, escape routes. The pilot had bought 30 seconds. That's all. Russian operators were adapting, switching modes to reacquire. Then they activated bistatic mode. The escape became a trap. Bistatic splits the radar. Transmitter stays at original site. Receiver sits 40 kilometers away at a different angle. Normal radar is like a flashlight where bulb and eyes are together. Bistatic puts the flashlight in one spot while you watch from across the room. Suddenly you see shadows invisible before. The MiG's receiver only detected the transmitter, but had no idea a receiver 40 kilometers away was catching his reflection like a mirror catching sunlight around a corner. Even at 500 feet, the signal bounced off his aircraft. The return was weak, but enough. They had him again. This time, Russians didn't launch long range. They coordinated something more lethal. At 10:03 in the morning, a Buk M3 received targeting data from the S-400 network. The crew had been positioned perfectly, waiting for the jet to reach one specific point, a rise overlooking a valley. The MiG would transit in 90 seconds. The Buk didn't need to search. The S-400 provided everything. Altitude 500 feet, speed 480 knots, heading 067, arrival 85 seconds. The 9S-36M radar powered up in 3 seconds, antenna already pointed where the fighter would appear. This wasn't hunting. This was execution. The pilot's receiver exploded with alarms. Buk acquisition, signal maximum, track locked, ambushed. At this range, 4 seconds before launch. The geometry was terrible. trapped in a valley with ridgelines blocking escape. Couldn't dive. Hit ground. Couldn't climb. Exposed to every SAM within 50 kilometers. Boxed. No good options. This should have been the end. Two 9M317M missiles erupted, accelerating so fast they broke the sound barrier before clearing the tree line. Each weighed 690 kilograms and pulled 35 Gs terminal phase, turns no pilot could match. Death climbing. The pilot watched missiles climb while calculating intercept, current altitude and speed. Impact 31 seconds. But here's what made Book terrifying. These weapons used command guidance until the last second. Ground radar fed constant corrections. Breaking lock meant nothing. Missiles keep coming. Almost certain death. One desperate option might work, and it would hurt. He pulled stick into the stomach while ramming throttles into full afterburner, trading hoarded energy for altitude. The MiG rocketed upward in maximum climb. G-meter at 7.5 sustained. At this load, the aircraft weighed 7.5 times normal. His G-suit inflated, squeezing legs and abdomen to force blood toward the brain. But gray spots crept from vision edges. Through the tunnel, he watched altitude, 2,000 feet, 3,000, 4,000. At 4,500 feet, he fired every chaff cartridge while rolling inverted and pulling through into a violent barrel roll. The MiG traced perfect aerobatics, while aluminum strips created a radar snowstorm. The first missile tried to follow, but couldn't match roll rate. It passed 100 meters below, close enough to see control fins working. The second missile was smarter. Its computer predicted where MiG would be at roll bottom. But the pilot anticipated this. Instead of completing roll, he pushed negative Gs halfway, bunting toward ground opposite direction. Pure skill. Missile tried correcting. Too late. Overshot 200 meters. Both defeated. Survived again. But maneuvering cost dearly. Fuel consumption during max climb, catastrophic, burning 300 kilograms in 40 seconds. Airspeed dropped to 180 knots, barely above stall. And Book crew wasn't finished. Already reloading. The commander tracked the fighter, Ukrainian climbing toward release altitude, needing 15,000 feet for GBU-39 bomb's maximum glide. Climb 90 seconds. Reload 45. They had him. Third missile launched at 14,000 feet, followed immediately by fourth. But the Russians made a critical error. Fired both simultaneously instead of staggered. Small mistake. In air combat, small mistakes determine who lives. Both missiles arrived the same moment, creating a single problem instead of two threats. The pilot held course 12 seconds, letting weapons GPS acquire satellites and download data. GBU-39s needed this for guidance. At 14 seconds, missiles closing 4 times sound speed, he pressed release. 2 GBU-39s separated cleanly, wings deploying as he rolled inverted and pulled toward our Earth. 7 Gs crushed down as missiles tried following. But physics is absolute. Missile at Mach 4 needs 2 kilometers for 180 turn. Freight train following motorcycle U-turn. MiG flipped direction in 200 meters, while missiles carved huge arcs through the sky. Both overshot. Fuses triggered empty air, detonating harmlessly. Leveled at 8,000 feet. Checked fuel, 1,850 kilograms. Extreme maneuvering burned reserves catastrophically, but enough to reach Ukrainian airspace if flew straight. Didn't use afterburner, and nobody intercepted. Behind him, invisible, 2 GBU-39 bombs glided silently through cold air, guided by GPS and inertial navigation. The first bomb reached the Russian command post at 10:15 in the morning. Weapon flew 6 minutes through GPS jamming. In the final seconds, the infrared seeker activated and identified the building heat signature. Bomb adjusted and dove through roof at 70 degrees. GBU-39 fuse counted layers, steel roof, insulation, concrete, detonated 16 kilograms, explosive exactly center operations room. Blast deleted everything in 0.003 seconds. Maps showing offensive turned ash. Radio equipment coordinating 2,000 troops vaporized. Command brain ceased existing. A fraction later, a second bomb found an ammunition bunker 50 meters away. Real target. Intelligence estimated 500 tons of artillery shells, Grad rockets, mortar rounds packed inside. Structure designed for 300 tons. Russian logistics sloppy. The bomb penetrator punched through 3 feet of reinforced concrete before the fuse triggered deep inside. What happened next? Inevitable. The blast triggered a catastrophic chain reaction. Each shell contained 8 kilograms TNT. Each Grad rocket, 20 kilograms explosive. A thermal pulse from one triggered next. An exponentially growing cascade turned the bunker into an erupting volcano. The concrete roof held the blast 0.1 seconds before disintegrating. The fireball climbed 200 meters straight up, visible 40 kilometers away. Entire ammunition depot annihilated. Every shell, every rocket that would rain on Ukrainian positions, gone. Meanwhile, the pilot crossed friendly airspace at 10:17 in the morning. Every warning light illuminated. Engine temperature beyond red. Fuel 30 kilograms. Hydraulics failed, but forward emergency strip 3 kilometers ahead. No time for procedures. Manually lowered gear using emergency pneumatics. 2 clunks, main wheels down and locked. Nothing nose gear. Runway rushed at 180 knots. Held nose high. Main wheels touched first. Bounced once. Touched again. Nose gear dropped and locked just before the nose struck concrete. Both engines flamed out, turning onto taxiway. Turbines spun down with grinding damaged bearings. The battered MiG rolled to a stop 50 meters from the hangar, trailing fluid from holes, smoke rising from engines. Aircraft looked like Swiss cheese, but pilot home alive. Ammunition depot destroyed. Mission accomplished against impossible odds.